Today in math, we're going to start by partitioning shapes into equal parts. I would like for us to partition this rectangle into fourths. That means we will have 4 equal parts. Let's practice partitioning together. I have noticed some third graders think that they can partition a rectangle model by doing crisscross lines, like starting in the middle and cutting it like this. That is not the correct way to partition a rectangle model. When we have a rectangle or bar model, we want to partition using lines that go up and down or lines that go left and right only, because they need to be equal in size. If we are partitioning into fourths, we need 4 equal parts. Let's start by partitioning into halves. Next, I can take each 1/2 and partition it in half again. Go to my other 1/2 and partition in half again. I now have 4 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4 equal areas. Now I want us to practice labeling the unit fraction. Remember, a unit fraction means any fraction with a 1 in the numerator. So this piece is 1 out of 4 total parts. 1/4 is the unit fraction. This piece is also 1/4 because it's describing 1 part out of 4 equal parts. This is 1/4, and this is 1/4. When you add all 4 together, if you take 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4, what do we get? We get 4 fourths. That means it's equal to 1 whole. When all of our parts come together, that equals a whole. Great job. Let's try another one. Let's do another rectangle model. We're going to partition it together and label the unit fraction. All right, let's try another rectangle bar model. Here we go. Whoa. Redo. Here is my rectangle model. I would like us to partition this into 8ths. 8 equal parts. I can begin by partitioning in half. Now I have 2 equal parts. I can take each half and partition that part in half. Now I have 4 equal parts. I want to get to 8 equal parts. If I look at each part, I can partition or divide it into 2 parts. So I'm going to cut each part in half. Watch me partition. Each part in half. Each part, cut it in half. One more. Then I'm going to count to make sure that I have 8 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, I did it. 8 equal parts. Now I would like to label using my unit fraction. I know a unit fraction has a numerator of 1 every single time. So what's my denominator? Well, my denominator tells me how many parts are in the whole. I just counted 8. I know that my denominator is going to be 8. So each of these parts has the same name. Each one is 1 part out of 8 parts. So we can label every single part 1/8, 1/8, 1/8. I sound like a robot. Who else sounds like a robot? 1/8, 1/8. Awesome job. I see Jonathan. He thinks I'm so hilarious. I think I am hilarious. Great job. We have now labeled the unit fraction, and we have partitioned equally into equal areas. Great work. Now let's try a model that's not a rectangle model. Let's try a circle model. Circle models sometimes create more problems for us because we can't partition them the same way we would do a rectangle model. Let me show you what I mean. If we have a circle model, let's pretend I'm going to partition into fourths. If I had to draw straight lines like a rectangle model, I notice that these parts are not the same size. This piece right here is shorter but fatter. This piece right here is really long and skinny. So these are not equal in size. We cannot partition a circle by going left to right or up and down. You always have to start from the middle when you have a circle model. I want to partition this correctly into 4 equal parts. I know that I can divide it or partition it into 2 halves. Then I can partition each half. I can cut it in half like this. Now I see that each part is the same size. Now I have equal areas. Let's label our unit fraction. A unit fraction always has a numerator of, you guessed it, 1. How do we know our denominator? I count 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts. That's our denominator. Our denominator always tells us how many parts are in the whole. So let's do some labeling here. This is 1/4. This is 1/4. This is 1/4. And this is 1/4. All 4 parts have the same name, and we call that the unit fraction. Great review, boys and girls. You may clean up your whiteboard and marker.
help me find where to write 1/2 on the number line. She said,
first draw a line with 2 arrows.
then she sang a song, here's how it goes. 0 to 1 is the whole that we split apart. The denominator tells us into how many parts. Make a line that starts from 0 to the first mark, and 1/2 is what you'll find when you get that far. My stuffed animal can't talk, but I thought I heard.
Hey Ben, on the number line, where's 1/3?
I said first draw a line with 2 arrows, and hey, I know a cool tune. Here's how it goes. 0 to 1 is the whole that we split apart. The denominator tells us into how many parts. Make a line that starts from 0 to the first mark, and 1/3 is what you'll find when you get that far. Then I texted my friend, what's to be done when the numerator isn't 1? She said,
Let's try to find 5 over 9 on the number line in like no time. Simply partition 9 parts from 0 to 1. Starting from 0, count 5, and at 5 9ths we arrive.
0 to 1 is the whole that we split apart. The denominator tells us into how many parts. Make a line that starts from 0 to the 5th mark, and 5/9 is what you'll find when you get that far.
Let's use the number line to describe this pie. First count the total pieces, there are 5. 5's the denominator, all the parts, so 5 goes underneath the fraction bar. This number line goes from 0 to 2, but the fraction's less than 1, so here's what to do. Make 5 equal spaces from 0 to 1. Now the final step before we're done. The numerator is the one piece that's mine. After the first space, I'll write 1/5 of the line. Just remember this one tip in your minds. Always count the spaces, never the lines.
0 to 1 is the whole that we split apart. The denominator tells us into how many parts. Make a line that starts from 0 to the first mark, and 1/5 is what you'll find when you get that far.
When you get that far, yeah. When you get that far, yeah. Ha-ha.
Special shout out to Kaylee, Cole, and Landon. They wrote that song and they came up with the whole video and they put it on YouTube. What? Nobody believes me? I think Landon got a little smile there. I'm just teasing. I don't know who wrote that, but I thought it was pretty silly. I think it's fun to see how we can model a fraction in a different way, not just rectangles, not just circle models. All right. So now that we see how you can put a fraction on a number line, we're going to check out another way that you can represent a fraction. Here comes a new video where we're going to learn about a set or a group of items.
In this lesson, you'll learn to write fractions from a group of objects. For example, suppose you have 7 apples, and you want to write what fraction of the apples are green apples. The whole is all of the apples. There are 7 apples. So the denominator is 7. The parts are each of the apples. 3 of the apples are green. So the numerator is 3. So 3/7 of the apples are green. Let's look at another example. There are 10 pets. Suppose you want to write what fraction of the pets are cats. The whole is all of the pets. There are 10 pets. So the denominator is 10. The parts are each of the pets. 7 of the pets are cats. So the numerator is 7. So 7/10 of the pets are cats.
Okay. So boys and girls, we're going to switch and we're going to take some notes in our math notebook with our pencil. we're going to show an example of a number line and a set of objects or items. So please get out your math notes, purple tape, and your pencil. Go ahead and do that now, please. All right, the first thing we're going to record is an example of a fraction on a number line. So first, I'm going to title this number line. And then I'm going to draw an example beneath it. The first thing you do when you draw a number line is you draw a line going from left to right. And you draw arrows on the left side and the right side, because this demonstrates that the numbers on the left continue on forever, the numbers on the right continue on forever. Today we're going to be showing fractions that are less than 1, so we will show tick marks on the left as 0, and on the right our tick mark will say 1 whole. Later, we will learn about what to do if the number is greater than 1. But today, we're just going to talk about fractions that are less than 1. They're in 1 whole, just like the models we've been showing. On this number line today, I would like us to show the unit fraction 1/6. I would like us to model 1/6 on the number line. So I know this is a unit fraction because the numerator is 1. The denominator tells me how many parts I need in my model. I see the denominator is 6, so I need 6 equal parts between my 0 and 1. This is my model. So to get to 6, I like to start with 3 equal parts because 3 times 2 is 6. So I'm going to start by making 3 equal parts. I'm going to put a tick mark here and a tick mark about here. Remember, I'm not drawing 3 lines or tick marks. I'm creating spaces. Here's 1 part, 2 parts, 3 parts. You want to count the space between the tick marks. So some teachers call it jumps, like 1, 2, 3 jumps. If you want to count the spaces or jumps, both are correct. Right now we only have 3. I need 6 equal parts. So now I can take each third and I can divide it in half. I can take each third and cut it into 2 parts because 2 times 3 is 6. So let's start with the first third. We're going to cut it right in half with a tick mark. I have now partitioned it in half. Now I'm going to look at the middle 1/3 and I'm going to partition it in half with my tick mark. Now I'm going to look at my last 1/3 and I'm going to partition it in half. We have now partitioned correctly. Let's double check and count the jumps or spaces to make sure we have 6 equal spaces. Start at 0 and count the jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 equal parts. Perfect. Now I want to place or plot 1/6 in my model. I see that 0 is all the way to the left. I'm going to start at 0. And I'm going to jump or move 1 space to the next tick mark. This is 1/6 because it is 1 part out of 6 parts. We have just shown where 1/6 is on a number line. Great job. Check your model. Make sure it's correct. To find your task today, click Activities, Assign to Class folder, blue Math, and our task is called Creating and Identifying Unit Fractions. Go ahead and open that up with me, please. Let's take a look at our success criteria for today. We're going to focus our attention and listen to the video.
Today we're going to continue with Math Learning Target 3G4. Partition shapes into parts with equal areas. Express the area of each part as a unit fraction of the whole, using 1/2, 1/3, 1/4, 1/6, and 1/8. The only thing we're going to do differently today is we're going to also represent the unit fractions using different models.
Awesome. Today we are going to show our knowledge of partitioning, labeling the unit fraction with some different models. I think you're really going to enjoy this. Please click on slide 2 with me. On slide 2, we have an example of what we're going to do today. You are given a fraction right here in the middle. On this one, the given fraction is 1/2. Our job today is to show 1/2 in lots of different ways. So let's go through each example. Here is a rectangle model. It shows that it's partitioned into 1/2 and it's labeled with the unit fraction. Each side shows 1/2. We've been working on this. We just did this in our notes. Let's go to the circle model next. Everybody look at the circle model. We are showing 1/2 with a circle model. It's partitioned correctly and the unit fraction is labeled on each side, just like we practiced yesterday. Today we're going to take our knowledge and we're going to stretch ourselves. We're going to see if we can try showing on a number line and parts of a group too. Let's look at the number line first. I see a number line that starts at 0 and goes to 1 whole. Mrs. Thaxton has partitioned it correctly and she labeled 1/2 on both sides. Now let's look at parts of a group. Last kind. Here are 2 items. They look like 2 silly animals. Mrs. Thaxton has partitioned it into 2 groups, and she labeled 1/2 on both sides. The last job is all the way to the right, and it's like yesterday, where we answered questions. Let's take a look at each question. Let's start at the top one. I'm going to highlight it in green. It says total number of parts of the whole. I see she put an answer of 2 parts in the whole. Let's go to the middle one. The unit fraction for this example. Well, I see she labeled every part as 1/2. So here she put her answer. The unit fraction is 1/2. And finally, number of unit fractions. How many unit fractions are in the whole? You guessed it, 2 unit fractions make up the whole. Let's go to slide 3 together, and let's try it as a team. On slide 3, we have 1/6. So we are going to show 1/6 in 4 different ways. Let's start at the top with this yellow model. Pick a color that you like. I'm going to do purple. And we are going to partition it into 1/6. My denominator tells me how many equal parts. I'm going to start at the middle for this one, and I'm going to partition and cut it into equal parts. For this type of model, it helps to go to the corners like this as you partition. Now I can label the unit fraction. This is 1/6, 1/6, 1/6, 1/6, 1/6, and 1/6. I have partitioned correctly and labeled each part with the unit fraction. Check that your model is done correctly. We have just shown a model. We're going to show a different model. Let's show using a number line. I'm going to choose a different color to keep it interesting. I'm going to do blue this time. I see my number line starts at 0 and it goes to 1 whole. I want to mark 1/6 on the number line. So I notice that there are 6 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can count the spaces, or you could count the jumps like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Either way, you will see there are 6 equal spaces. Well, today I'm supposed to model 1/6. So I know that if I start at 0 and I jump 1 time, right here is the first part. So this will be 1/6. I have now labeled and shown 1/6 on the number line. Try it and check that your model matches mine. Next, let's do our circle model. Remember, with a circle model, we cannot draw lines just up and down or left and right. It will not partition equally. We have to start in the middle. To get to 6 equal parts, we can start with thirds, 3 equal parts. To show 3 equal parts, you partition like this. It looks like an upside down letter Y. If you start with 3, it makes it easier to get to 6. Now I can take each part and partition it in half. I can cut this one in half. I can cut this one in half. I can partition this one in half. Now I have 6 equal parts. Don't forget to label your unit fraction. Each part has the same name. This is 1/6. This is 1/6. This is 1/6. Keep going. Remember our robot voice. 1/6, 1/6, 1/6. Who else feels like a robot? Yes, Kaylee has a good robot going. 1/6 is the unit fraction. Need more fractions. Need more fractions. I am hungry for fractions. Oh, Angela, I can hear you laughing. Oh, you guys are funny. Okay, we have now partitioned our circle model correctly into 6 equal parts, and we have labeled it with our unit fraction. We're so close, you guys. We have one more model to show. Parts of a group. Okay, let's do it. Parts of a group. Remember, the parts of a group mean just a bunch of items together. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 magnets. That makes sense because our denominator is 6. So instead of it being one whole, we're going to think of this as one whole. And there are 6 equal parts. Okay? There are 6 parts, so 1/6 would be one of the parts. So let's label each one 1/6. I'm going to use black so you guys can see it. I know it's a little messy to draw over a picture. We'll do the best we can. 1/6. Each one is 1/6 of the whole group or set. Awesome job. Take a minute and label your parts of a group or parts of a set. Your task today, boys and girls, is to practice all 4 like we did. And if it helps you to do your robot voice, you should do that. I already see Nick. He's ready to go. I am going to make an exception today. You do not have to do these things over here on every page. You do not have to do that. If you want to do that, that's fine with me. That's optional. But I want you to try all 4 ways. We did 1/6 together. Your job starts on slide 4. I want you to finish the slides and show me what you know about unit fractions and modeling a unit fraction. That's it today. It should be pretty easy peasy. See if you can figure out these that look a little bit different. Okay, so just a reminder, your job starts on slide 4. You need to finish the slides. Reflect on your success today. If you get done on slide 10, there's a link to practice some unit fractions. I hope you have time for that. So work really hard, boys and girls. Get all your slides done. Turn in with the green check.